Good afternoon, colleagues from the media. Good afternoon to the honorable members of Parliament for Patriotic Front. Let me recognize the presence of the Deputy Secretary General, Honorable Nixon Chilangwa, also MP for Kang'ombe, the members of Central Committee who are with us here. I want to say that today we have all seen how our institution, the National Assembly, has now crumbled in terms of the institution which is the bedrock of democracy in our country. What you are seeing happening to the honorable members, unfortunately, is not only limited to the members of Parliament. As we speak to you now, there is commotion. The most competent personnel at National Assembly have been demotivated. Some of them have decided to even resign from the institution. Those are the most competent officers that we have had, especially for those of us who have served Parliament for a good number of years. It's worse that the placement of senior members of staff is now going by name other than their professional qualifications and their professional competences. And this is a worrying trend. But before I say much, I will invite our senior most here, Honorable Nixon Chilangwa, Deputy Secretary General of the Patriotic Front. After that, I will invite the other colleagues from the Central Committee, but also members of Parliament and the leader of opposition, the legitimate leader of opposition. And very soon, we shall take the necessary action to ensure that these illegalities that are being perpetrated by the National Assembly are dealt with, hopefully, by the other institution, the other arms of government, especially the judiciary. Honorable Nixon Chilangwa, I invite you to address the media.
Afternoon, colleagues. I would not say good afternoon because it's not a good afternoon, unfortunately. Colleagues and especially members of the Patriotic Front, countrywide, members of provincial committees, district committees, constituency committees, and ward committees. Last but not the least, the members of the Central Committee. I greet you and I bring greetings. What has happened today is indeed very, very sad, because this is how our democracy, our right to debate, our right to represent you, our people, is being decimated. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those who have been suspended, but even though I'm not one of those who have been suspended, I can't sit in the house when my colleagues have been treated in the fashion that have been treated. We're appealing to all of you colleagues out there to stand up and defend democracy. This democracy will not be defended by only us members of Parliament, but you, our electorate, you the ones who chose and who elected for your members of Parliament to be representing you. Basically, this action today is meant to instill fear into members of Parliament. It is meant to divide the members of Parliament in different camps, but I stand on the right side of judgment, on the right side of history, on the right side of the argument. And I'm appealing to all those members of Parliament who call themselves PF members of Parliament is in the House. You need to stand on the right side of history. You need to stand on the right side of the argument. It will not do for you to be chancers. It will not be. It will not help you. It will not help this country. Mind you, Zambians are watching. Zambians know exactly what they want. And therefore, for me, today is a very sad day. And I'm here to give solidarity to my brothers and sisters, those who have been out of Parliament, who have been kicked out of Parliament, because I know what it feels like to be chased out of Parliament in that particular fashion, because I've gone through that route. I know what it feels to be on your own, because I've been through that route. And these very members of Parliament who have been treated in the fashion that have been treated are the ones who stood up and who continue standing by my side. So for me, my appeal is to our members out there and the country at large. Every patriotic Zambian and the citizen of this country must stand up. And I also want to refer to the activity we undertook on Friday, where I went to see the EU, where I went to see the US Embassy, where I went to see the British Embassy. We told you on Friday that worse things are coming. And if you continue folding your arms, if you continue watching, I can tell you for sure, and I can tell you for free, and I'll refer to you to a Bible reading in Esther chapter 4 verse 14. And that scripture is very clear. If you do not stand up for a time like this, help for Zambians, help for these members of parliament who are being victimized, who come from elsewhere. So those of you who want to elect to stand up by and watch how our democracy is being decimated, how our members of parliament are being mistreated, how this country is being misgoverned, and you elect to stand aside and watch. Please, colleagues, help, I can tell you for sure, because the God we worship is a God who doesn't slumber, who doesn't sleep. So this is not just a physical fight, this is also a spiritual fight. The evil one is at play. Because people should have a sense of shame. People must arrive at a point where they say, come on guys, why are we doing this? What are we getting out of this? But for people to continue going in the wrong direction, when all the Zambians saying you are going the wrong direction, and people are just increasing speed in that wrong direction, it is very unfortunate. You remember, the devil blinds people from seeing reality when they think they're in the driving seat. So, colleagues, I thank you very much, members of the press, for coming at short notice, and I will leave the honorable members who've been affected by this action to speak to you, the media. But I can tell you, us as a party, we are with our members of parliament, and we shall give them the necessary support that they deserve and that they desire. I thank you.
Thank you so much, SG. We are very grateful. Indeed, it's a difficult time, but we are not shaken. We are not shaken by we are going to stand together and united. I forgot to recognize our dear colleagues, independent members of parliament, who are with us here. Honorable Mniazuru, I can see you, Honorable JJ Banda, and Honorable Binwa Mpundu is not with us.
It's me.
Due to an illness. So, thank you so much, Secretary General, for your message of solidarity. And indeed, I'm also appealing to our honorable colleagues that in a fight like this, there are sacrifices to be made. Even the people that liberated us, the people that got independence for us to be what we are today, did sacrifice a lot, to the extent of some of them losing their own blood. So really, we are not here for enumerations, because we have heard the speaker talk so much about the monies that we earn. We are here to represent people. And that's what motivates us to make sure that the correct thing is done, including for her to do the right thing as speaker. I'm sure you have heard many people speak to our conduct in parliament, including renowned legal brains of this country like John Sangwa. I now invite the Honorable MP for Kalulushi, who is also a chairperson, national chairperson for women, to say a few words. Honorable Kampamba.
Thank you very much, Whip, and good afternoon, colleagues from the media. Just maybe like our Secretary General of the party said, indeed it is not even a good afternoon, it is a very sad day for us as a people, as a country. What has happened today is very, very sad, especially on behalf of us, the women, who have always supported the call for women to be in leadership. Not very long ago, our Speaker of the National Assembly addressed the mourners at the late Speaker's funeral, Mr. Mwanamwamba, where she talked about the leaf she had plucked from him, the leaf of impartiality. I don't think this is what is happening today. And we are very much aware that this is such a time that you would want your opposition members of parliament to be out of parliament, because obviously we have a budget that is questionable. And what do? They have to send us out. What happened to our colleague Kang'ombe is very unfortunate. And obviously, within the lines of rule and defense, we had to stand for what is right. I've heard the speaker speak so much about the issue of the monies that come with parliament. It is really nothing. And so those of our friends that have remained in parliament, I wish to urge them to stand with their colleagues that have been taken out of parliament. This is a more serious issue than we have at hand. And I want to just urge the other members of parliament, also from the ruling party. I could see a lot of grief in their eyes as I walked out, because even they, I know, do not agree with what the speaker has done today. Just tomorrow we are told that the issue of sexual reproduction, there will be a workshop, and we know the contents in that workshop. So obviously there are these things that they do not want the public to know, that they would want to sweep under the carpet, because this would be such a time, honestly, that speaker and the ruling party would want checks and balances. But it's clear that this government does not want any checks and balances. That should be exhibited by the opposition. This is a time and a call and a wake-up call for our dear colleagues, especially the women out there. This is not a battle for one woman, it is a battle for every other woman. It is a battle for every well-meaning Zambian. And I just want to thank the many stakeholders that are coming out to speak on the injustices. The democratic space in this country is being suffocated, and here we are watching. My appeal especially to the women, especially those in the NGOs, this is your time to speak out. We want to hear more women speak out. And I want to assure Madam Speaker and also the ruling party that we shall not be silenced. Our goal, we were elected by people that had confidence in us, that we shall defend the Constitution. That is what we swore to. And we will not be afraid to do that. Whether we are taken out of parliament for 60 days, even a year, our role is to speak for the masses until the democratic space is no longer suffocated. So taking us out of parliament just gives us an opportunity, dear colleagues, to go back to the people and tell them and explain the injustices of this government, how they want to silence the voice of those that cannot speak. This is not even a joking matter. This is not a matter that people should even begin to even think twice. It's a matter for all of us as a country to rise and speak for what our forefathers fought for, and that is the democracy. And I think there's no other better place to speak on the injustices, on the needs of our people than parliament. So if we are being told to shut up on the floor of parliament, dear colleagues, this is no longer about the Patriotic Front, it is about every other Zambian. If you're members of parliament, people duly elected, even through petitions, they were still duly elected. They are being told to keep quiet, and issues are just passing right through our nose. This is a time to stand up. So we know exactly, Madam Speaker, what is going on, why we have been taken. It is not even an issue of Kang'ombe. It is an issue of the issues that you want to bring before Parliament while we are away. And we will not remain silent. We will speak about these issues. So, dear colleagues, my dear friends, that have come out of parliament with us, and those that have remained parliament, let us forge ahead. This is nothing. We are yet to see the worst out of this government. But the only thing that can allow us to fight this government is for us to remain steadfast, to remain prayerful. And indeed, we are under siege. This is a spiritual battle. Men and women of God, you need to come out and pray for this country. We need you as pastors, bishops, our fathers, to begin to pray for this country. What is happening in this country is uncalled for. President Kaunda, right before his death, he did say, he reminded us, and it's true in our language, they say, Mukulu tapsakevo apsakevo. This is food for thought for the Zambian people.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I also want to acknowledge the honorable members who have joined us, those that are not part of this punishment that the members are facing. We can only thank you, honorable colleagues, and we want you to fill up the gap that we are going to leave in that parliament temporarily. because it will certainly be very temporal. But we need to stand together and ensure that we represent our people. My dear sister, thank you so much for the message of encouragement, and you have touched on something very, very interesting. All these members seated here, to you journalists, in case you have forgotten, after they were duly elected by their people, it had to take the courts to reinstate them, because they were all petitioned. Some of them had to even go beyond the High Court into the Constitutional Court. So if people who want to work with you have shown you that they can, because I mean, you can't punish someone you want to work with. So today they must come to us and say we are their darlings. How would that work? So our members are seeing through what is obtaining, and I know that they will still stand and go through these coming turbulences that we are going to pass through with endurance. I think they're tough tested. I feel pity for the new ones, but they've shown that they can come out of the storms. I don't want to. No, they are now solid. They are now solid. No. I totally agree. You are now solid. But you let
that nonsense happening there.
How can you remain new?
How can you remain young?
Very true. I now invite my dear colleague, Honorable MP Folukasha, who is also chairperson for legal in our party, to just make a few comments before I invite the next speaker. Honorable Sir.
Thank you very much, Leader of Opposition. I will ride on the what has already been established as protocols. I want to start on a lighter note, Chief Whip. I heard my sister-in-law, Brenda Nyirenda, saying that nonsense that is happening in that house. I think there's something wrong with people from Lundazi. Because 2 days ago, my friend Muhavi Lungu was considering what is happening in our parliament. Total nonsense. And he actually said this is not an insult. It's an English term saying things have degenerated so much. But on a serious note, I want to just remind the nation that this is the second time that this speaker has suspended Patriotic Front members of parliament, and the suspension comes against a backdrop of for us insisting to do what is right. It's not coincidence that we were suspended first during the budget last year, and we are being suspended again during the budget this year. On both occasions, we've been suspended for our attempt to do what is right. I must say that I take this suspension with pride and with a sense of satisfaction, because I do not want to compromise my principles. I do not want to compromise the oath that I took when I became a member of parliament for Lukasha constituency. And I think I speak for all members who are here, that we have chosen not to compromise our oaths. We have chosen not to compromise our independence. This speaker would like to skew this parliament. This speaker would like to destroy the decorum in parliament. She breaches the constitution herself, and when we stand up, she uses the very constitution to punish us. She breaches privileges herself and the standing orders, and when we try to stand up to correct the anomaly, she uses the same standing orders to punish us. You know, the moral obligation to preside over the affairs of parliament starts and ends with the character of a speaker. And this speaker has demonstrated repeatedly that she lacks character. This is the same speaker who had excluded 10 members of parliament when their cases were on appeal to the Constitutional Court. It took the Constitutional Court to remind her that she has no responsibility to interpret the Constitution, because under our constitutional democracies that we have, it is only the Constitutional Court that must interpret the Constitution. At that time, our friends had stayed out of parliament for a considerable period of time, and they came back just after the Constitutional Court made a ruling. So this speaker continues to abrogate the Constitution, but we will not going to sit back. We will always carry out our responsibility to ensure that the Constitution is respected, including decorum in the House. Our suspension is extremely unprecedented. Members will tell you that we received letters of exculpation on Wednesday.
No,
Wednesday evening.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. We received those letters at night on Wednesday, and we were expected to offer our responses by Thursday. which is the following day, is unprecedented in the sense that some of our members have filed complaints against members of the UPND. And these complaints have been, in the Speaker's office for more than 2 months. No UPND member of Parliament has been suspended. No UPND member of Parliament has been taken to privileges. It is very clear that this Speaker, when it comes to punishment, she thinks only we are supposed to be punished, and our colleagues can do whatever they would like to do. The public is aware of how many times our members have been insulted on the floor of the House, including female members of Parliament. They have been abused, they have been called names. And the beauty about Parliament is that everything that goes in there is recorded. There's TV in Parliament, we've got Hansard in Parliament. These are not things we're just dreaming out. These are real stories that are happening in that Parliament. So they've come in that Parliament with a view, 1, to weaken us, and 2, to make us angry so that we don't carry out our functions. But like my colleagues have said, we remain resolute. We will provide checks and balances in that Parliament. The only time we're not going to do it is like this time when we've been kicked out of Parliament. And I'll give the reasons why we'll be suspended this time. Honorable Kang'ombe, like my sister had said, was having his right to debate in that House violated. And violated by who? By a presiding officer. He wanted to debate and he kept being curtailed. And the only thing he was asking is, why am I being prevented from doing what the people of my constituency sent me to come and do here? The people of Kamfinsa were watching their member of Parliament being abused by the Speaker, and we thought that we should stand to his stead. In fact, most of us were going to basically reason with the people that were trying to kick him out of Parliament. And that's why when we were written those letters, we asked the Speaker to give us the footage that she may have used. She claimed to have seen the footage. So we asked, in the interest of justice, give us the footage so that we can prepare our defenses before we give an elaborate response to the allegations being leveled against us. What did she answer today? She says that was a lame excuse that we provided. Why? Because she had premonition. Her mind was made up even before she wrote those letters to punish us and put us out of the House. You see, she invoked rules of natural justice herself today when meting out punishment on us. What about us? Are we not entitled to the principles of natural justice? And we entitled to be given an opportunity to defend ourselves? All these MPs that you have seen today have been suspended without being heard. No one has given a response to the allegation. We only ask her, give us more particulars so that we can know how to respond to the allegations against us. Unfortunately, that fell on deaf ears, and the decision has already been made to suspend us. Now, you need to understand this suspension. It is very connected to the schemes that Mao Sampa has been doing all this time to take over Patriotic Front. So they are only helping Mao Sampa to legitimize the unconstitutional events that took place during the conference that he allegedly had, which was basically a retreat. And also it is being done to try and ensure that Mr. Charinga, who was appointed by Mao Sampa as leader of the opposition, can easily walk into that parliament. If people have been watching, Mr. Charinga has not come into that parliament from the time he was appointed leader of opposition. Even when we were being suspended today, the responsibility of the leader of opposition is to stand with us and tell the Speaker, you can't suspend my members, and give reasons why. But because we are being given a leader, or rather the House, not even us, the UPN are being given a leader who is already compromised. He was not even in the House to defend us when we were standing, to defend ourselves. Fortunately for us, we still recognize our leaders. And that's why we thought we should come and speak to the press in the presence of our leaders. As far as these members of Parliament are concerned, we elected our leaders. Honorable Brian Munduvire continues to be leader of opposition. Honorable Kamfinsa continues to be our opposition whip in the House. In fact, the unconstitutional removal of whips even extends to Honorable JJ Banda. He was unconstitutionally removed from his office. I think if independents have seen what we've gone through today, it is a test that they have to stand again. They should also defend their own whip, because JJ should not have been removed being leader of the independents. Why? Because when they have a number, it is only the number itself that entitles them to have a leader in their standing as independents. But this parliament does not follow the constitution. It does not follow the law. I want to say this. If you can see what has happened, the public has stood with us on Mao Sampa's skirmishes. The news channels are full of people objecting to what the UPND and Mao Sampa are doing to power the Patriotic Front. And we are very grateful to the people of Zambia. I would like to ask them to continue following the events as they are taking, to make sure that when we stand up, they stand with us. This is not even about Patriotic Front. It's not even about us being members of parliament. It is about preserving constitutional democracy, which we started in 2016 ourselves. It is being obliterated, is being distracted by those who think that they must reintroduce a de facto one-party state system. I would like to take, my hat off to the Registrar of Societies. The young lady has been put under intense pressure by the UPND to change the particulars of the Patriotic Front. She has resisted it up to now. We know they would like to sidestep her. We are aware that right now they are going around the country collecting registers from people who they think are members of Patriotic Front so that they can legitimize what Mao Samba did after the fact. Now, that is not going to work because that system at Registrar of Societies, this is the government which installed it. We know how that system operates. You can't sidestep it. If you sidestep it, it is going to reject whatever you're going to put in there. But hats off to the Registrar of Societies, and we are going to stand with her at all times. We know that UPND, is attempting to escape the impeachment motion. We have filed an impeachment motion. It has all the signatures that we have. The story that is doing rounds is that some of the MPs are withdrawn from that motion. There is no provision that allows you to withdraw from a motion. Once you append your signature to a motion, it is in motion. It is moving. It will come to the floor of the House unless again they breach the Constitution to prevent it coming on the floor of the House. Can you imagine how afraid these people are? Now the story that are taking place is that they are trying to compromise some of our members who had actually signed on that impeachment motion. But even this attempt to withdraw the signature is not going to work because the law expects that once the motion has been signed, it will be tabled before the floor of the House. It will be debated, and we will need to make sure that we debate it and then we vote against it. But of course, with what they are doing now, this is an attempt to escape that responsibility. So Zambians must begin to hold accountable those who are managing the affairs of parliament. You can see how they're prepared to breach the Constitution and our Privileges Act and even standing orders to make sure that they remain in parliament while they've kicked us out of there. We know that several other things are going to come to parliament this week. There's a motion, for appointment of a commission of inquiry, which a UPND member has proposed and supported by another UPND member. That motion, quite frankly, is supposed to be ill-fated because it's a motion that is asking the president to appoint a commission of inquiry to investigate what he calls illicit financial flows into the country between 2011 and 2021. Here are the problems I've got with that motion. Why have they selected the period that PF was in power as the only time that they should investigate illicit financial flows? What about what happened in 1997 or what happened before 2011? Why haven't they included it? It's simply because they've targeted the Patriotic Front. Even what is going on now, why haven't they included this period when UPND is in power for the last 2 years? It's because this is part of a scheme to destroy the Patriotic Front. I know that they are so hell-bent on ensuring that we are distracted ourselves, but we know that Zambians are now standing with us. This motion cannot certainly pass in a proper parliament. Here are the reasons why. The Inquiries Act has a provision specifically on who has power to appoint a commission of inquiry. The president, in his subjective mandate, appoints a commission of inquiry. So this parliament cannot ask the president to appoint a commission of inquiry. It will be intruding on the powers of executive. We are the legislature. We are the ones who even passed that law called the Inquiries Act. Our work ended there. Once we appointed the inquiry, once we enacted the Inquiries Act, we then handed over to the president for him to be exercising the powers to appoint a commission of inquiry. Now we are being told as parliament that we must persuade the president to exercise those powers. And I know why he's being asked to do that, because the last 2 years they've been attempting to find something of fault on all leaders of the Patriotic Front. Our leaders have gone to investigative wings for the last 2 years. Some of them have even appeared in court. There have been no convictions. So what they now want is a shortcut of using a commission of inquiry to purportedly collect evidence against members of the Patriotic Front. You can imagine if they're going to bring Honorable Brian Munduvile to a commission of inquiry. It's a skilled process. They would like to make sure that they use a lesser standard to collect evidence and then present it before investigative wings. Then take it to the so-called financial courts and secure convictions. All this is designed to make sure that they destroy the Patriotic Front. But as Zambians begin to continue, standing with us, this is a project that in my assessment is ill-fated. And if I can advise President Hakainde Hichilema, I know I'm not within my right to advise him because he's on the other side of the divide. Sir, do not be persuaded to be doing things that are unconstitutional. Do not be persuaded to be doing things that are illegal. Maybe you are being misled by some of your leaders, even those who are presiding over parliament. What has happened today is a crying shame. That members of parliament who were standing to protect somebody's right to debate in the House can be sent out for 30 days. And here's another thing. Why was the Speaker in a hurry to deliver 3 rulings, all of them against the Patriotic Front, when we've got complaints against the UPND members of parliament? You've heard all the three rulings. We've been condemned, we've been penalized, we've been kicked out of parliament. But we are not going to stop. Like Honorable, Cheramoche said, it gives us an opportunity now to go and mobilize our people. It gives us an opportunity to go and protect our secretariat. It gives an opportunity to go and open secretariat offices in our districts where we come from. We are going to the constituencies, we're going to mobilize our people. The Patriotic Front is not going to be killed by anybody, like I said before. This is a living organism. It's a movement. And as you push it, it will push back. And if it begins to push back with the people supporting it, 2026 is going to give a completely different story. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leonard Council. You just forgot to talk about the bogus statutory instrument purported to have been issued at the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Exactly.
For the Red Sox parties. I can tell you.
My dead colleague will attach on that.
I can tell you that being one of those that served the Ministry of Home Affairs the longest, that statutory instrument has got no effect. It's an illegality. The only legal channel that the religious societies use is supported by Cap 119 of the laws of Zambia, which is the Religious Societies Act, which is then read together with the political party constitutions.
That's right.
That's how it works. So those who have been trying to manufacture some constitution from somewhere, alleging to be amendments to the constitution of the PF, are wasting their joined by the freedom. As he settles down, we shall allow him to settle down. I'm sure you are seeing the vibrance, and I think the honorable MPs that we have, the youth MPs, are really showing that they are able to stand out for their people. If you look at the JJ Bandas, Honorable Munia, Honorable Kang'ombe himself, Binwe Mpundu today, you must have heard him on Hot FM. Even when he was sick, he was able to go and articulate the issues on a radio station. We are very proud of you, our young MPs. And so you have just come at the right time. I'm being told that you were in the field. They are trying to
Okay. Oh, yeah.
They are trying to fix these young MPs and all entire MPs. Kadola Kalipati 23. Watch. You have seen, you have read the monetary policy pronouncements from Bank of Zambia. Akabungana kokale sopokafi. So, Charawa Masani Charo. Honorable Bidwa Mpundu, you can say something to Honorable.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Kang'ombe, MP for
Kamfinsa. Yes, first of all, allow me once again to acknowledge the presence of all the members of Parliament, Leader of Opposition. May I recognize the presence of the Whip and all the senior members of Parliament. May I simply say, dear colleagues and senior members of the party. Well, I want to put it on record once again that anything that will affect our democracy should be fought. If our democracy is under threat, we have a duty to speak out. And I think that the members of the public are very disappointed that a place which is supposed to have the highest level of respect for democracy, that is where democracy is being attacked. For us to speak out, for some of us to come out very strongly on this particular issue of parliamentary democracy, it's because we are worried that if we kill democracy in Parliament, it becomes very easy to kill democracy outside Parliament. Because inside Parliament, that is where we make laws. So for me today, it may appear to be a dark day. It may appear to be a very sad day, but I think we have put on record our voice. Had we kept quiet over this particular matter, I can bet those that are coming after us in future, because there will be MPs after our group, after the next generation, there will be another generation. Zambia does not die with UPND. Zambia does not die with one particular political party. Zambia will continue to exist, and for the sake of our democracy, we have a duty, and that is why some of us spoke out. We spoke out, and I want to remind those that have done whatever they've been doing, that the words I spoke on that day in Parliament still stand today, that for as long as the democracy of our country has to be protected, those of us who have the voice to speak have to speak. And I want to encourage my dear colleagues, the members of Parliament, this idea that members of Parliament will be threatened that no, you will not get paid for 30 days, this is not about allowances. The idea that we'll be threatened because we will not get paid for the next 30 days. Yes, our people that depend on the help from members of Parliament will feel the pinch, but we want to assure them that we'll find a way to continue looking after the people that sent us to Parliament. When we have a problem, we know that there are many Zambians that believe in the work that we've been doing. What work have we been doing? We've been speaking that democracy is protected. What is the issue that has brought us this far today? It is the issue of the Constitution of Zambia. When we were sworn in, me, I'm a first-term member of Parliament, the first thing I was told is that you need to swear to defend the Constitution. How do you sit back when Article 60 of the Republican Constitution is being breached? Why should we keep quiet when Article 74 of the Republican Constitution is being affected and it's being breached? We have a duty to speak out. For those that will come in future, they must emulate our strong voice. Our strong voice is that democracy in Zambia should survive beyond any political party. Zambia has existed before any one of us existed. Why should we keep quiet today? Simply because one person is breaching the Republican Constitution. What we are discussing today is a constitutional matter, and I hope that those that have kept quiet, civil society organizations, this is the right opportunity for you to speak the language of defending democracy. Why should you keep quiet when you know very well that the Constitution of Zambia is being breached? You expect us to keep quiet simply because someone is going to threaten us with a suspension. What is a suspension? A suspension as if we are dying today. Now I want to look for Tabatina. You know, suspended for 30 days. I don't think that will go anywhere. So for me, leader of opposition, I was not around in Parliament when the ruling was being read out, but I'm aware of what has transpired. And I remain resolute. I remain with a very strong voice. I will continue speaking that the democracy of our country has to be protected. This is not about Christopher Kang'ombe. It is not about Honorable Kampamba Mlenga or any person. This is about the democracy of our country, and we will continue speaking. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable. I was aware that you were writing exams, and I hope you were not so disturbed.
I want to pass.
Yeah.
He was writing on democracy.
It won't be complete. Our discussion won't be complete if we don't include our colleagues, the independent members of Parliament who are with us here today. I'll allow them at least short slots, starting with Honorable MP for Petauke, who will then be followed by Honorable MP for Lumezi. Please briefly just comment on what transpired today.
Thanks a lot. My name is Emmanuel J. Banda, Member of Parliament for Petauke Central Constituency in the Eastern Province of Zambia, and also a former whip.
You're not former. No, you're the whip for the opposition.
Yeah, illegally former whip. Yeah. Let me say that, let me also follow all the protocols which have been followed. I'm here giving solidarity. I know I wasn't in Parliament today, but when I just heard on the radio, I said, no. Enough is enough, because that house now, it has come, it's an animal farm. I'm sure those who have been following me, I even said it before, and I was chased out of the house by saying, this house, it's animal farm. So today, I'm speaking like a prophet, and whatever I prophesied has come to pass today. Yeah. Because that house, it's animal farm. Let me take you back. We have got 4 grouping in that house. We have got UPND, PF, and UPNP, PNUP, then we have got independents. And then these, we have got leaders. The independents, I'm their leader. And then what happened, one of my member, Honorable Given Katuta, they said she was accused to say she has breached the standing orders together with Honorable Kasanda Chushi for Chisamba. But what happened? The same gravity of the offense, which both of them were accused. The other one to say, no, you are the first offender. But the other one, despite being the first offender, she was given 7 days. Where is democracy there? This is the democracy we are saying. That's why, to me, I'll urge the president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, there in that house, we have got 2 female speakers. And then these 2 female speakers, check their behavior, the way they behave. The other one has never even shouted at a member of parliament. Look, even the president of Tanzania, when she came, she said, I respect the members of parliament. I can't address them while seated. Let me stand, I address them. Because they know to say that's a house of decorum. That's a house also which make laws. But look now what the other speakers done that house. Like it's indeed an animal farm, but maybe it's like a branch. A branch of, I don't know what I can call it, but my brother will come and conclude the name of that. Honorable Munia Zuru. We have got two female speakers. The other one has never, she's got respect. Why? I'm sure because I'm a researcher in parliament and I'm on record. I researched. The other one, Honorable Attractor Chisangano, in my research, we found that because she was a member of parliament, she knows the rules and she understands the standing order. But we don't know the other lawyer where she came from and which university gave those qualifications. I'm sure there's a question mark in there. So the president just sees these 2. And I'm sure maybe you might be worried to say there's opposition in the country, Mr. President. The many opposition, it's the same speaker. The same speaker, if the opposition, they're decampaigning you at the rate of 40%. The speaker, she's decampaigning you at a 90%. Because just check, the same parliament is on social media, and it's good that the president of Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, also follows Facebook. She confirmed to say, I follow, I see what is happening. Try to check what is happening there. You see the comment, the people are not happy. So it's a sign to say that's one way of killing democracy. And I can even steal the words from one of the highest ranking person from a certain political party who called the father. And I'm sure it was a mistake. It was that one, it was supposed to go at Manda Hill. That Lucifer word, it was supposed to go to Manda Hill. Because this is not right. Because you can imagine where now you are expecting to say we should now protect the laws where they want to bring even gay rights, and then you chase all these members of parliament. Now who is going to defend? Which means now you are even encouraging. But I can assure you to say God is there and God will protect. And I can assure you, let me also thank the leader of opposition for your solidarity and for us independents. We know for us we are independents, we are not in your political party, but you have shown to us to say, yes, sometimes we are being treated unfair because it's your job as leader of opposition. You are not the leader of opposition just for PF, no, but for all the opposition in the house. Independent, opposition, all of us were under you. And I can assure you to say, we are with you, what you are going through. And I can also steal the words which the speaker from Kenya said last week on Wednesday. Don't forget that. Use those words. He told you to say, Brian, we are with you. That was the Speaker of National Assembly in Kenya. Said, we have seen what is happening through social media. But Brian, we are with you. We know to say, be strong. We know to say, you are defending democracy. Those were the words from Kenya. You can imagine. If Kenyan people are following injustice, what is happening in Parliament, what about the Zambians who are quiet? That's why I urge you Zambians, don't take this as political. Us, we are independent, there's PF, but we are here to defend the illegalities, what is happening in Parliament. Leader of opposition, yesterday I was appearing on Joy FM. I told them to say, they asked me to say, what is the breach which the Speaker has been, which has breached for her to be impeached? Just simple. Look, even me, the way I was suspended. I was caught because my name was named. Then I was, they read everything, then I was given 7 days. But for the other 7 days, she was supposed to call me again to say, can you come back? We are naming you again. That's the lose. But now she's expecting us to be following standing order, but her, who is there, she doesn't want to follow the standing order. Yeah. Which education level? It's questionable. Bose kwasu tukamba kuti vantu kupeta uke nuolira kamba tu wane ula speaker mkamulete tikampunzise. Akambira tu. Okambira tu oticherwe chitukuko. So if you are listening, I know you are not in Parliament, you are listening this. So wanda kupeta uke mfunani, they are inviting you, come to peta uke. Aka muje ni kuti vamu chita ni vabwino lini hai. And kumawa konse okumva lini bwino, because even university timuja nuti lini bwino. Nomba tuzwa lini uti chamwa ni pishira ndani university atufuna ku Eastern, I don't know. My brother will finish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Jeje. I can agree. I can agree with Honorable Jebanda. I was around when both the Speaker from Malawi or from Kenya and the government whip from Kenya were encouraging our leader of opposition here. They were so shocked that things could happen in the manner they're happening. They openly, in presence of the Speaker herself, when they were giving messages of solidarity in a meeting which was a mutual meeting to discuss, to compare and best practices. I now invite Honorable Mnia Zulu to also make a few comments.
Thank you, Whip, and thank you, Leader of Opposition. Let me write on the already established protocols. This is a sad day for Zambia. This is a government that has been preaching that the previous Speaker, Honorable Matibini, had suspended UPN DMPs for 30 days for having walked out when the former president was addressing the House. It only happened once. Nelly Mutti, in 2 years, has decided to suspend members of Parliament for 30 days in 2 years. Now, this is a woman that has breached the Constitution by appointing a questionable member of Parliament in the name of Chabinga, whom she travels with most of the times, as our leader of opposition. It is a known fact. There is no way. Look at how many members are here. Chabinga, who goes everywhere saying, no, I was with Nelly. He tells us himself. It's not a secret. And then he should be our leader of opposition. Where are the defenders of democracy in this country? This government, if indeed they won with the numbers they claim to have won with, they are not going to be as defensive as they have become. It could be true that that election was not free and fair. The levels of fear I'm driving into Parliament, I find tankers of policemen. What is it that I'm scared of? Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, this is your agenda. You've been using Nelly Mutti. We do not know for how long. But whatever goes round comes around. We do not recognize your leader of opposition, Chabinga, that went into Hungry Lion within Livingstone. We don't recognize him. We don't recognize Anthony Mumba, the Kantanshi lawmaker. As for you, Madam Nelly Mutti, you are clocking 68 years on this earth. Honestly, just last week you spoke very well about the late Musa Mwanamwambwa. And 2 days later, you are doing the opposite. What legacy will you leave for the country? And for your grandchildren, if at all you have any? What legacy do you want to leave? What legacy? She's 68, you can Google. So, we are calling upon all well-meaning Zambians, the church, the legal fraternity, not to allow this breach of the Constitution. They passed that law last week when they caused this drama, making livestock theft non-bailable. Yet motor vehicle theft is bailable. So what more laws do they want to bring? What laws are they trying to bring? They have been lying on all fronts. Now lies have caught up with them. The police, we are also hungry as any other Zambians. But like someone said, this is a spiritual battle. You can't have fuel, it's a mess. Health now will be taking patients to Tanzania. Before we are done with fertilizer, there is anthrax in the country. Before we are done with anthrax, there is this breach of the Constitution in Parliament. Everything is going hayway. Something is wrong. Can someone start praying if they don't pray? Today, the speaker went to open a Christian caucus, and in the afternoon, she comes to bring her drama. But this time around, we are going to use all legal means at our disposal to challenge her. Last time we gave her a benefit of doubt. We thought she's a normal human being. But at last, no, there is a problem. And I'll check. There is a legal provision that allows civic leaders to go to court and get a court order to have someone's mental faculties checked at Chainama. All these are among the many legal fronts that we are going to use. Leader of opposition, we are with you. And this battle is not only for the members of Parliament, but it's in defense of our democracy. And just to send another message, because the British Embassy and the American Embassy, we told you that our masses, the Zambian people, are saying you are the sponsors to kill democracy in this country. You are sponsoring this nonsense. Now that we are going to be in our constituencies as our lawyers are battling this matter up, we don't know how many people are coming to camp at these embassies until the rule of law is restored in this country. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Munya. Nachumva kwa wala kuli chendux. Achumva kwa chala sunu kila
It's up.
Okay, it was only the chair lady, but we would, before the leader of opposition concludes, Honorable, please join us, Honorable. So before I would just allow Honorable Chitotela, one of the senior members who remain in the chamber, so that we hear and we get assured that our voices will be covered. Honorable Chitotela, briefly, just as you remain behind, your assurances to the members of the public.
Thank you so much, the opposition whip, my brother Bran, the leader of opposition in Parliament. we, the members of parliament from PF, elected you. Election, when there is only one name that is proposed, you can't cast a ballot. It is called, you have gone through unopposed. I remember when your name was being proposed, the seconder, I am the one who seconded, and the people were asked to propose. Nobody proposed, and on that score you went through unopposed on the basis that you were a government whip and you understood the procedures and the processes at Parliament. I want to assure you that we are with you. It is really a dark day for democracy in Zambia, but we will not lose heart. We will continue fighting just to remind Zambians the level of injustice, and we will not keep quiet. The people of Luapula were insulted at Turibabusukumano, and 15 of us petitioned Parliament. To date, we have not been responded to. The issue of Kang'ombe speaking just happened last week on Wednesday. In the evening, they received the letters of exculpation, and others have not even responded to those letters. Today, they are being sent out of Parliament for 30 days. What happened in Kube na Luapula forever busukumano? Forever busukumano. Ati twakwate nsala ishinga, twakwate chipo ekyakumano forever na Luapula. Elo ne chipo ekyakumubiri. Elo chipo ekyakumano elo nale ekitacheki. Muntu, a person who suffers from the poverty of the mind is a person who cannot do good or bad. Nangu mwamu perame nshino teshi biati aleitira nangu kono. Efyo tu afwe na Luapula efyo but is describe. But tuli babusukumano. Now utatoa pokelera response up to date. But I want to assure the people of Zambia and you, our friends, the members of parliament. When I was the Deputy Minister of Labour, we said an injury to one, it is an injury to all. We will stand with you and we will speak. And if it becomes unfashionable for us to be there, we may not be there. So we want to assure you that we are with you, and it is a very painful experience. We can't have this drama in Parliament. I just want to call upon members of Parliament. Vane, I am not boasting. It is by the grace of God that today I am 13 years in Parliament. If God allows, by 2026, I'll be doing 15 years. Mpombo wivilima. Aba vilima tabachiruka nshila. No muswemo uko sefu pa kula mbe nshila. Yes, today, I don't know, all of us who came from the street amongst us. No, we are doing sound businesses. Ask my son-in-law, uyu hapo pa vyuma MP wa kusakiri. Some of us, the time we were coming to Parliament, had more than 516 employees, but we stood for the good thing. You can't succumb to betray the people of your constituency in the name of business.
No.
You can't. You can't say, no, I'm a businessman, I'm protecting the business interests. Resign, go and do your business. You will have to choose whether to save the people of Zambia or to save yourself. This is not a message of joke. It's a strong message, more especially to my friends on the patriotic front who have put their interests of business first. Mpombo wivilima, aba vilima tabachiruka nshira. 2026, tukesa episha abantu beno ati abamu tumino ku Parliament wa businessman muibatumu. Let him continue with his businesses. It's because who doesn't do business? Honorable Chirang was a businessman. Some of you knew the buses called Zamsaf. His garage was bent during election in Kawat, and all the 6 buses they were bent to ashes there. So when I look at members of Parliament, wabakwatisha mano, naba kwete interest ya business, if we that kwete mano brand. Ila company of beauty trust itayakwata mano ababe shireba kwata sana mano ya kusunga business. This is a message to my friends, members of Parliament on PF. If you have chosen business, go and do your business. Leave
Thank you so
politics
much,
to people who want to serve the people.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Chitotela. Indeed, we must choose. When we choose to serve people, we must do that which goes with serving the masses, not self-preservation, self-interest, greedy. But these are things that are known. Even during the liberation for independence, they were treacherous people. Treacherous people everywhere. We are now joined by one gallant lady, very well known to us, most of you in the media, the social media platforms, who has joined us. Our Honorable Member of Parliament for Chiengi, independent-minded, and who stands for justice. Honorable Given Katuta, just your comments on what has transpired today. We, your colleagues, fellow members, have been sent home for 30 days, others 37 days, which we have never seen, serving sentences that run consecutively in Parliament for the first time. Yeah, we have got jungle justice at the legislature. Honorable Given Katuta, any comment?
Thank you so much. Really, it's a dark day for democracy. I must put it on record. If in our country we cannot talk about reconciliation and forgiving each other, then we are not going anywhere as a nation. I've never been on any giant political party, but I've had challenges also with, I would say, with PF before. But there was no way I could have held that in my heart to say PF did this. But what we're seeing today and the comments also on the social media are that Matibini suspended UPND for 30 days. He only did that once. But this is the second time members of Parliament and the PF are being suspended for another 30 days.
In 2 years.
In 2 years' time, which is unprecedented. I just want to say something to the public. Do not just listen to what you are hearing. Try to get closer to these MPs. Some have been painted to be animals. Honestly, we are all family members of Parliament who have wives and husbands and children and grandparents. We cannot turn the house, which is known to be an August house, into a play place. No, but it's due to the attitude and the behavior of the presiding officers. In the history of this country, I've never seen such kind of police surrounding the Parliament. And the kind of rulings are always biased. I was suspended, and somebody who had even a worse case than me was just rebuked while she was seated. So what I want just to appeal to the nation is that don't play with our democracy, and do not leave democracy only to few members of Parliament. PF, they have 54, and then the few independent 58, and the few independent members of Parliament to fight for democracy for people who are more than a population of 23 million. We are heading for a big trouble, and this is how dictatorship, starts to be brewed. We are really, let me just say this: we are in dictatorship. I've never seen even the kind of rulings. I mean, to our speaker, she's a mother. She's a mother, just like any other person here. She should have that heart as a mother. Even when she's delivering, delivering her whatever. But when I was looking at her, I couldn't just believe my eyes. We can't go on like this. Now, who is going to do the checks and balances of that budget? It's a national budget. It's not UPND budget. Deliberately, the people, they know they've got brains who can check that, who can check the wrongs that are in that budget. They've decided to send them away. I'm here to give solidarity to those who are in opposition and to those who've been sent away unfairly. because this is uncalled for in our lands. And we cannot go on like this. We need to reconcile. We cannot say because PF did this. There's always a new page to start from. And I think it's very important that the nation should also voice out. I will also insist, the church should not believe that if they're in the church, they're going to preach to their people. When they leave the churches, people are hungry. We are the ones to talk about the hunger that is in the nation. We are the ones to talk about the high cost of the high cost of living. Now, if we cannot be given that chance, who is going to say that? This is what I wanted to say, and I want to say to my brothers here and my sisters, honorable members, please, you should never, 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 back off. Rather, you go hungry than giving up on your justice and democracy. Democracy comes first. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you so much. We are really encouraged by that message, and I think it is coming at the right time. I now invite the leader of opposition to sum up our conversation and to close the press briefing. Thank you very much. Honorable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Whip. I'll start by acknowledging the presence of our Deputy Secretary General of our party, Honorable Nixon Chilangwa. I also acknowledge the presence of our party whip in Parliament, Honorable Kamfinsa, members of Central Committee present, on all members of Parliament, including members from the independents who are with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, today is indeed a very special day, but I must start by commending all of you. I want to call you the heroes of democracy. What you have demonstrated today is that you are able to stand up in defense of the Constitution and in defense of the democracy. If you look at Article 2 of our Constitution, it talks about defending the Constitution. What you have done today is to come out in defense of our Constitution. You are the gallant soldiers that the Zambian people sent to represent them. And you showed Madam Nelly Mutti that when it comes to defending the Constitution, you will risk it all. And indeed, today you are being punished for defending Mother Zambia, defending our democracy. I want you to walk very tall. I want you to walk very tall for what you have done today. And I want to encourage you that you must continue walking that path at whatever time, when occasion arises, that you must defend the Constitution, you must just do that. We've made a solemn undertaking on the floor of the House. We are ready to be punished 1,000 times in defense of our Constitution. We are ready to be punished a tenfold in defense of our parliamentary democracy. And that I want to repeat. Ladies and gentlemen, countrymen and women, when you talk about constitutionalism, constitutionalism is about representation and contestation. Unfortunately, our friends in the UPND are not ready to receive divergent views. They've intimidated management of Parliament to the extent that you have never had a ruling against a UPND member ever. Honorable Chitotel has been in the House for 13 years. Honorable Kamfinsa, Honorable Chilangwa, and the rest of them. How is it that these old members are the ones to struggle with coming to terms with standing orders, and you members who came yesterday from the right know it all? How possible is that? These are experienced members of Parliament. I found them in Parliament. But all the time, members on the left are ruled out of order. So I want to say this, that Madam Nellie Mutti has lost her legitimacy. She has no mandate to run that Parliament. Nelly Mutti has no mandate to run that Parliament. She lost her legitimacy the moment she breached the Constitution. The moment she disregarded the Constitution, she lost her legitimacy to preside over the affairs of that House. That is why today you had 58 members moving a motion of impeachment. The same Nelly Mutti today decides to suspend 16 of those names. She can't act against members who just moved a motion of impeachment against her. If she had any moral standing, she would have left that particular function to the first deputy speaker. It can't be the same Nellie Mutti, whom the members have petitioned, they want to remove, and then she quickly moves them and suspends them. When you talk about fidelity to the law, those that should be implementing the law or respecting the law should be the first ones to respect the law. The standing orders of our parliament are supposed to be obeyed by every member of parliament. Speakers are members of parliament. The people of Zambia must know that. A speaker is a member of parliament. Our speaker is a member of parliament. She is therefore amenable to the same rules that members of parliament follow.
Just a correction, our outgoing speaker.
Yes, our outgoing. No, she has lost her mandate. Nellie Mutti has no legitimacy to run that parliament. She has no mandate to run that parliament. The members of parliament have petitioned and moved the motion of impeachment because we have no confidence in Nellie Mutti running parliament. I can maybe borrow the words from the State Counsel John Sangwa. Yes, I agree with him. Nellie Mutti is a candidate for prison because she's in breach of the Constitution. And I sympathize that she will have to go to prison in old age.
Alone.
She will go to prison alone and in old age. So we want to remind the Zambian people that the desperate efforts by Madam Nellie Mutti to try and frustrate Parliament will not go unchecked. We are lucky that we've got vibrant members of Parliament still remaining in the House. And now I exercise my power as the elected leader of opposition in that House to direct all members of Parliament who are remaining in the House, ensure that there is no motion, there is no report to do with gay rights that should go unchecked. Members of Parliament remain vigilant. Ensure that all underhand methods, you should be observant that they don't bring a report from a select committee to try and ratify the position of Auditor General. Members of Parliament are directed to be on lookout. Be vigilant and ensure that what they are trying to do to sneak in certain bills, sneak in certain motions, remain watchful and check them. Because what they are doing is a dress rehearsal. President Hakainde Hichilema using Nellie Mutti, they want to know how it feels to run a one-party state. What they've tried all these years was to try and have a one-party state. They are now doing a dress rehearsal to see how they can run a one-party state. So we are in court. First of all, the decision that they have made today, we are going for judicial review. Because the member, the speaker who made the decision, is the same speaker who these members petitioned against. The motion is still alive. For information of the members seated here and the rest of the country, there is no provision for withdrawal. The moment the motion of impeachment has been signed and has reached the threshold, it is in motion. Anybody intending to vacate can only vacate during the process and on the floor of the House. For instance, they can opt not to vote when the question is put on the floor of the House. Yes. If somebody is going to come and tell you that we have received letters of withdrawal, are they also telling you that Parliament has opened doors for letters to be included on those that want to be petitioned? If there is a door that is open for withdrawal, they should announce that there's a window that is open for those members who would want to be included, because those people are there. So simply put, it's an exercise in futility, Madam Speaker. Not only have you lost your mandate and legitimacy, but your desperate efforts trying to save yourself from a motion of impeachment will not work. My advice and guidance to the clerk, do not tamper with that motion of impeachment. It still remains alive. If there are other letters that have come, advise the members that it's rather too late. There is no single member on that petition who signed with a gun to their head. They all came and signed willingly. Why? Because they were not pleased with the manner in which the Speaker has been running Parliament. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think a lot has been spoken. I want to adopt the words of my other speakers as my very own, but most importantly, to note that our democracy is under threat. Our democracy is under threat not only outside Parliament, but inside Parliament too. all governance institutions have now collapsed completely. And I want to repeat that. Whilst people complained that cadreism under the PF existed in bus stations and markets, now we have cadreism in even presiding officers. Can you imagine? I mean, it's unimaginable. I fail to imagine, Secretary General, that you have a speaker who can receive a letter from a stranger and recognize that letter and even go to the extent of making an announcement in the face of a constitution that she swore to defend. Are you not surprised? I'm actually embarrassed that we have such presiding officers and the whole world is watching. The whole world is watching. I want to say I belong to the same profession as some of those presiding officers who know very well that for PF there was no need for them to get any injunction regarding the Mao Sampa case. The moment the cases were before court was an instruction enough to presiding officers not to proceed on any matter in that direction. But they were very quick. What happened to sub judice rule? These are basics that everybody is supposed to understand. How is it possible that the presiding officers do not understand? They do not understand because now they have no mandate. Now they have no legitimacy to preside over a democratic house like our house today. So, ladies and gentlemen, honorable members of parliament, I want to thank you most sincerely for the solidarity that you have shown. And I think the whole world is able to see who the real leader of opposition is. I don't know who the other gentleman is presiding over as we speak in the house now. We will probably find out in the course of the day. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. Thank you.